Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to Tip Top Sports. Today we're looking at 6 sleeper NFL teams that could make the playoffs this year in 2021 to 2022. Let's get into the video. The 2021-22 NFL playoffs are a ways off, but it's never too early to look ahead as we identify 6 teams that will make it to the postseason after missing out last year. We are more than 100 days away from the start of the regular season, but that doesn't mean we can't look ahead to what the NFL has in store for us in 2021. That started already with a look at 6 teams that made the playoffs last season, but wouldn't do so again in 2021. As most fans know, there's usually a high turnover in this league built on parity, which is why such a high number of changes is being predicted. Now, we look at the postseason again with the prediction of which teams will take the place of those who miss out. With 4 NFC teams and 2 AFC teams predicted to miss out, we add the same number here, starting with a young, up-and-coming team from the NFC. At number 6, the Arizona Cardinals. Last season, the Arizona Cardinals were on the brink of challenging for a postseason berth. After 9 games, they were 6-3 and one of the hottest young teams in the NFL. Then, the bottom fell out. They dropped 3 straight from Week 11 through Week 13 and finished 2-5 down the stretch. That left them with a mark of 8-8 overall, and they just missed out as Chicago earned the final wild card spot with an identical record. Not everything is bad for them, however, as they did improve upon the 5-10-1 record they had in 2019. Also, quarterback Kyler Murray took some big strides, especially since he now had DeAndre Hopkins to throw the ball to. Now, looking ahead to 2021, they could be a team to watch. Not only are Murray and Hopkins going to have a full year together, but Arizona also added AJ Green on offense. As for their defense, Chandler Jones should return after missing 11 games in 2020, and he will have some help in JJ Watt and Zaven Collins. All that should be enough to finally give them a winning season, helping them to secure a spot in the playoffs this year. At number 5, we have the Minnesota Vikings. All that talk in the AFC North seems to be centered around the Green Bay Packers and the Chicago Bears, and for good reason. Green Bay has a dilemma on their hands with Aaron Rodgers unhappy and reportedly wanted to be traded. Then in Chicago, they just got their star quarterback after trading up to secure the rights to Justin Fields from Ohio State. But with all that attention going to them, it's allowed the Minnesota Vikings to fly pretty under the radar. After a 7-9 campaign, people have just sort of forgotten about the fact that this team has always been competitive under head coach Mike Zimmer. In fact, that was only the second time in his career that Zimmer had a losing record, the last being his first year as the coach in Minnesota, and he responded with an 11-5 campaign in 2015. Zimmer also had one of the worst defenses he's ever had, ranking 29th in points and 27th in yards. This is just one season after he led them to a top 5 finish in terms of a scoring defense. Expect the defensive-minded coach to get their defenders playing well again, and the offense should be even better next season. Not only has Kirk Cousins been underappreciated, but he and running back Dalvin Cook have even more help with Christian Darrisaw and Wyatt Davis joining an offensive line that really needed an infusion of talent. Don't be surprised to see a bounce back from this team as they get back to the playoffs in 2021. At number 4, the Los Angeles Chargers. Last season, the Chargers went 7-9 on the season and had Justin Herbert to thank for a lot of that. The former Oregon star set NFL records for rookies with 4,336 yards passing and 31 touchdowns with just 10 interceptions. He also added 234 yards on the ground with another 5 touchdowns. LA is now one of the teams to watch heading into 2021 since they have a legit star under center. Not only that, but they used their first-round pick to acquire Rashawn Slater, giving him the left tackle he needs to feel comfortable in the pocket. They also added Jared Cook, who replaces the outgoing Hunter Henry, and should have Austin Ekeler back on offense as well. The Chargers have everything needed in order to be a playoff contender this coming season. While it will be hard for them to knock off the Chiefs in the AFC West, it wouldn't be a shock to all to find them as one of the top 7 in the AFC. At number 3, the New York Giants. Last year, the New York Giants were nearly the winners of the NFC East, despite having a losing record. They finished 6-10 and had the Philadelphia Eagles decided to keep trying against the Washington football team. They could have been the team to represent the division. In the end, it probably was a good thing for the Giants to have lost the game. There was no way they were doing any damage in the playoffs, and instead it allowed them to have the 11th pick in the 2021 NFL Draft. That pick was then shipped to the Chicago Bears, who drafted Justin Fields. New York then added Kadarius Toney as well as another pick in the first round of the 2022 draft. Toney joins a revamped receiving corps that includes free agents additions Kenny Golladay and John Ross. The Giants' solid offseason continued when Georgia edge rusher Azeez Ojulari was still around for them in the second round. Add to that the growth of quarterback Daniel Jones, who is entering year 4 in the NFL, and the return of running back Saquon Barkley from a torn ACL suffered back in 2020. New York should be back in the mix for the NFC East with a wild card spot as their fallback option. At number 2, the Miami Dolphins. At a record of 10-6, the Miami Dolphins were one of the best teams to miss out of the playoffs in 2020. They were unable to get in with the Indianapolis Colts, Baltimore Ravens, and the Cleveland Browns, all securing wild card berths with an 11-5 records. Looking forward to 2021, however, there's reason to believe Miami will have better fortunes. Not only is it unrealistic to expect so many 11-win teams again, but they have a favorable schedule as well. According to ESPN, the opponents Miami will face had a winning percentage from last season of just .471, which ties them for the 5th easiest schedule in the NFL, tied with the Denver Broncos. There's also plenty of reason to believe Tua will improve in year 2. Sure, there were those who thought he was a bust, but that's not exactly true. Tua did have some struggles, but he really played like a rookie and was overshadowed by the performances of Justin Herbert and Joe Burrow. In 2021, not only will he be more comfortable, but the Dolphins also added Will Fuller and Jalen Waddle to help him improve. Their defense should also continue to shine as an already strong unit just added Jalen Phillips and Javon Holland into the draft. Head coach Brian Flores has done a great job retooling that defense, and they just became even more dangerous with those 2 potential starters. And at number 1, the Dallas Cowboys. One team that really disappointed in 2020 was the Dallas Cowboys. After hiring Mike McCarthy as their new head coach, they were supposed to be saying goodbye to the frustrating mediocrity that plagued them during Jason Garrett's tenure. That didn't happen though, as they were an atrocious defense that only had a shot in their early games due to the play of Dak Prescott. Then, when he broke his ankle, everything fell apart. Andy Dalton was unable to get them into the playoffs, and a lot of that was due to their offensive line struggling with health. Of course, having stars such as Ezekiel Elliott, Jalen Smith, and Leighton Vander Esch all underperform didn't help either. Now, heading into the season, there's at least some good news. 1, Dak Prescott is expected to make a full recovery, and the O-line is healthy as well. 2, they added players such as first-round pick Micah Parsons and fourth-round pick Jerrell Cox to light a fire under Smith and LVE. 3, they have the second easiest schedule according to ESPN, right behind the Philadelphia Eagles. While having an easier schedule is ideal, Dallas has never been one to make it easy on themselves. They usually do beat teams with subpar records, but only after playing down to their level and then squeaking out a narrow win, then proceeding to lose to a decent team the next week. Having said that, the narrow wins would still count in the end, and Dallas should be able to squeeze out a win in the NFC East, which would then set them up their disappointing 22 campaign, but that's a story for another day. Alright guys, thank you so much for making it to the end of the video here on Tip Top Sports. If you enjoyed, do me a huge favor and hit that like button, subscribe with post notifications on so you never miss weekly high quality content, and I'll see you beautiful faces in the next video. Have a great day.